There is no other environment I don't think I've ever seen that creates this kind of intimate kind of relationship between vendor and builder, builder to builder, builder to designers. It's really amazing.
All right, we've got a longtime partner here, no stranger to the Contractor Coalition.
Long time.
Mr. Mike Weaver with Emser Tile. You've been with us now for the last 2 years as a proud partner of the coalition.
What does that make it, 5 coalitions?
Yeah, 5 in a row.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're on a heater.
Well, it's only me.
I know, that's how it goes. What have you learned in terms of the type of builders that come here? And then when you interact with them again after they leave, what's your observation as someone, because you meet them, you talk to them, but then you stay in contact with them as they develop their businesses.
Yeah, I'm not sure if do you want to know about what I want to make sure I understand. Do you want to know about, like, from a vendor perspective, why it's important, or just in general?
Well, I think both, actually. I think one of it is you have a unique observation that, the builders come here to learn, to collaborate, to open up, and you get to see how they implement it to their business and how they grow.
Yeah, so this is important to share. So first and foremost, I think what I enjoy most about attending the coalition is that I get to learn what's important to the group of builders that attend. And I've noticed, even in the very beginning, there were some maybe sponsors that didn't attend the entire event. And after my first event, I learned that they were exposing or sharing where their challenges were, which is valuable for me to also hear, so that we can build a value proposition that supports their challenges. Yeah. So, and to the question of the type of builders, I think, it's unique because you get builders that are entry level, maybe that are doing remodels, trying to get into new construction or, net new luxury business. But there's also major, like very high level, really high volume, luxury builders who are also all trying to learn and get better. I love them both.
Yeah. How has it changed your business, and how has it helped you as a partner?
That's a good question. So our ability to, what's so funny is, coming into the coalition, I thought a lot about product sales and how to get my product moving in a group like this. And then I quickly learned that the business is driven more by problem solving and value proposition than it is product, right? And I think uniquely, for any vendor, interested in participating, you can get product anywhere. It's your ability to solve problems that, gauges the interest of a group like this. I think that's unique.
I heard something recently that really resonated with me in terms of conflict management with, let's say, a client, or what you just spoke about is, present solutions, not problems. Yeah. And Brad Levitt talks about all the time, especially during COVID, you guys have worked together specifically for a long time, and we aren't really in the world today, hopefully it doesn't go back there, in terms of, like, there's sometimes where you just couldn't get product. Sure. But it was the depth of the relationship that allowed you to really contact the person that could help you. And maybe they couldn't solve it immediately, but they could help you solve it maybe in a different way. Having your continuity of multiple years, people know that they're going to see you at the coalition. They see us interact with you on social media and in person on our own, spec homes or the homes that we build. I think it presents a lot of, loyalty is a two-way street. We're loyal to our partners, you guys are loyal to us. And by doing that, it fosters this community of continuity that I think people look at, and I don't know if they always are able to articulate it, but they see that there's a lot of value in people that work together regularly.
I'll share my perspective on, events. Good, bad, or indifferent, I end up attending and speaking at a lot of events, like many of us surely. And I'll tell you that out of all of the events, and I could name a ton of them, this is the most intimate group of individuals looking to improve their business, and the ability to rely and build partnerships with it's almost like a fraternity, or to be able to build a community of people that rely on each other for expertise and each other for growth. There is no other environment I don't think I've ever seen that creates this kind of intimate kind of relationship between vendor and builder, builder to builder, builder to designers. It's really amazing.
I think the magic is the fact that you have 3 to 4 days where you're just with that same group, because there are mini events like the Curious Builder Collective, but it's only 3 hours. Sure. You have it 4 times a year. It's just different. You have IBS. You have a meetup for a couple hours. It's just rare that you have this many days in a row.
For sure.
So the depth of the relationship goes so far.
Yeah.
Maybe you break the ice on day one, and then you really get deep on day two, and then you find out who kind of your mini tribe is within the whole tribe, and you just keep getting deeper and deeper and
Look,
deeper.
I think, Mark, if I'm a vendor considering sponsoring or considering being a part of the Contractors Coalition, I tell you, I think this is day two.
It's
or
day
three?
two officially. We had the kickoff day.
Yeah,
But
so
we're 3 days together.
Okay, but technically day two of like deep content, and I'll tell you, we're at 17 follow-up appointments with builders so far, and I just honestly, our company is all about ROI, and sponsoring is no small feat, but the value of being able to build a relationship with builders over a few days, and then a follow-up connection to start building our business process and business relationship. Where else can you do that?
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, you already have a relationship before you even have your first meeting.
For sure, which is, I love it. I absolutely love it. People often say that a warm lead is better than a cold lead, and there is no better lead than spending 3 days with people that you actually really get to enjoy. And honestly, you also get to decide if that's the person you want to work with or not.
Right, you get a sense of the temperament.
Yeah.
You told me a story yesterday, I think, on the bus, and it was really funny, where someone came up to you and like, would it be okay if I scheduled a meeting with you? Yeah. And I love that, just that they saw that everyone else, you interact with them, and they're like, well, I want to know what this is all about.
It's funny that you said that. So another person came up to me today and asked, and they shared a competitor that they are currently working with and said, man, we'd love to get on your schedule. I don't know how we make that happen. Who should I talk to? And it's just, again, I don't know where else you find, and I actually think you're right. So I found a similar connection, even in a much shorter time, with our participation in the Curious Builder Collective, as well as the Designer Collective. And I think getting to spend another couple of days with people, or that much more time, just makes it that much easier to move them into, a buying relationship and partnership.
I think what's unique about that Contractor Coalition Summit, going back to the time, is we all struggle as owners and as just human beings with how to allocate our time. Sure. And it's a big investment, not only in money and in your business, but also life. A lot of us have families, and we're negotiating with our spouses and our family, like, what's it to come to 3 days? And it's not vacation.
Especially if it's your birthday.
Yeah,
one of those
birthday
days.
Boy. And I think what's interesting about that is, because you're here now, people are like, I'm going to maximize that time. And I had a number of conversations in between the classes. Sure. And it was, one of the gentlemen was just describing, he said, I don't have a place where I can share this freely. As a man, particularly, he said, and there's plenty of women here too, and he just said, I feel like I can get more vulnerable, be more authentic, and these people understand me and see me because they're under the same stressors that I am, and I feel like as much content and things I can add to my business, I feel like these conversations are adding to my life. And I interviewed a woman yesterday. She came specifically as a female woman, owner of her business, entrepreneur. She wanted to interview with Morgan as being another, one of our talented hosts, and say, like, specifically, hey, as a woman in a construction industry, you're like a double Venn diagram of small. How do I make my way? And I'm on the Curious Builder podcast, I talk about all the time, I want more women in construction. I love that she specifically came here to be around Morgan.
Yeah, I'll also say that I've been impressed over the last 5 coalitions that I've attended. There's been like solid representation from, which is, let's be honest, there's only so many women in the industry, or so many women that we've met in the industry, and it's wonderful to see that they are continuing to be drawn to the Contractors Coalition Summit. And I think you're right, specifically Morgan and her ability to execute helps to draw them in. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is something that you're looking forward to in the coalitions in the future? Like, where do you see the coalition going as a partner?
Honestly, I really don't know what I'm looking forward to, other than the content that continues to kind of elevate and change. I think what I am most encouraged about is watching the group continue to change the industry, because it's not just the fact that they're getting groups of builders together. This is abnormal in the construction industry, period, to be so intimate amongst so many groups of people. So as we watch the community grow, the more coalitions happen, the industry is changing. The industry is becoming more collaborative. Designers are more collaborative with architects. Architects are more collaborative with like all of those changes, in my opinion, are really starting from things like the Contractors Coalition or the Curious Builder events. And there are really no other events focused on changing the industry this way.
I think it's been a byproduct, but it's also been kind of the cause, if that makes sense. Because I think by leading with collaboration over competition, Brad talked about it 3 years ago in Nashville. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to lay everything out there, and it was kind of like the proof of concept. Now it's like, to me, that's like the entrance fee to the game. Like if you're not collaborative, you're already, in my opinion, becoming a dinosaur.
Sure.
Because I mean, let's be honest. People that think they have the secret sauce or know something that nobody else does, they're not coming here because they're not open-minded. They're not coming with curiosity. So, for me, observing this over a couple of years, the type of builder that comes, it doesn't matter what your strata of builders. It's more about how willing are you to ask questions, to be vulnerable, to be open to learning. That's why you're here. And I think it's those people get so much more out of an event like this because they're coming so open-minded and so just with open heart.
When you and I spoke at IBS with Tim and Heather, one of the things that we talked about was the opportunity to leverage each other's relationships and really use our friendship and partnership to help each other's businesses grow. And this is another environment that fosters that kind of leverage. I mean, how many people in that room, how many builders in that room know designers that other builders want to work with? And how many designers in that room know other builders that designers would want to work with? And the more we can share the opportunity to collaborate, the people we know, the introductions we can make. Fun fact, Michelle on my team, there's a builder out of Flagstaff, Arizona that has a designer, I won't, I guess, maybe share the designer's name, but has a designer that he really wanted to work with. She's super famous all over Arizona, and we've done 6 projects with her. And Michelle came up and said, well, would you like me to introduce you to her? And he said, yes, of course. And then the other gentleman, also from Arizona, asked also. And so she sent 2 group messages, one to each of them in this design studio. And both of the designers responded that same night while we were at the event. That's what collaboration looks like in an environment like this, and really how we should be relying on each other to grow.
I mean, that's perfectly well said. I had a builder from Minnesota that I've been asking to come for a while, and she came and she's like, I'm so glad I came. And she said the main reason I came is she has a second home in Nashville and she wants to start building homes there. And she's like, I've made several connections, maybe on a potential partner, and basically just people that I can connect with to achieve my goal. And I think sometimes people come with a goal in mind, which is great. Sometimes people find what their new goal is while they're here.
They're here for discovery, right?
Which is great.
Yeah, I love that. By the way, I was thinking, I think I saw her at the gym this morning, and I was thinking there's someone in Nashville we should introduce her to.
Well, you're the king of collaboration and you're the king of relationship connections, so make it happen.
I just appreciate the partnership.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
If you're interested in attending the Contractor Coalition in the future, please head to contractorcoalitionsummit.com or follow us on Instagram to find out more.